Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody calm down.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these videos. And of course, our partnership with our esteemed partner, Augusta Precious Metals, also helps us bring you this video. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your IRA or retirement, y'all reach out to them. Look how you can secure your investment against inflation and erosion. Give them a call at 844-651-8334 or go down and click the link paralegal-institute.com/gold to get your free information. Look, what do you have to lose? Now, y'all, we have an explosive report today that the FBI has opened a formal criminal probe into New York Attorney General Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud. The New York Post reports the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office in Albany have launched a criminal investigation into mortgage fraud claims against New York Attorney General Letitia James. A source familiar with the probe told the Post. Now, we talked about this. Just several days ago. There was a little preview of this. And when I finish with this video, I'm going to run right into the content from that video. So whoever doesn't have the context, you'll have the context, okay? So the investigation was first reported by the Albany Times Union, follows a request that the Justice Department investigate James, sent by Federal Housing Finance Agency Director William Pulte to the Justice Department last month. New York's Northern District, where Pulte's referral was steered, is led by U.S. Attorney John Sarcone III, an ally of President Trump. Representative Elise Stefanik, who represents the district where the investigation was initiated, commended the FBI and Albany prosecutors. Quote, "The investigation into Letitia James is a vital step toward justice," the Republican Congresswoman said in a statement. "I will continue to fight to expose New York corruption, protect constitutional rights, and hold those failed Democrat leaders in New York accountable." Pulte's letter alleged James, quote, falsified records, quote, to obtain favorable loans on a home she purchased in 2003 in Virginia and a Brooklyn brownstone she's owned since 2001. The Democrat also allegedly indicated the Virginia home would be her principal residence. Y'all, I'm kind of laughing because isn't this kind of laughable? I mean, it's serious what she's alleged to have done, but it's laughable that she would have done it, right? I mean, she's the attorney general of one of the biggest states in the whole. She prosecutes this, y'all. Anyway, the Democrats also allegedly indicated the Virginia home would be her. The Democrat, that's James, also allegedly indicated the Virginia home would be her principal residence. Y'all listen, so the FBI is on the case. Anybody who, first of all, if you're like, what happened? We're about to flow into the video where we break it all down. It's just going to all be explained. And also, if you just like watching my excellent videos, you can watch this one. We're going to play it back. So y'all, the FBI is on the case. Now we're going to flow into the video, which previewed that this was about to happen.
Okay, well, I made a misrepresentation in document A, but then I made a different representation in document B. I get it. I think it does cloud the issue, but I'm not so sure that it absolves her from the initial initial misstatement.
Yeah. And again, the question was her stating that, I mean, it just seems to me so incredibly dumb that it's hard to believe, right? That the sitting attorney general of New York would list her principal residence in Virginia, knowing that she's stepping into a beehive, right? I mean, a hornet's nest, whatever you want to call it, with regard to Trump. I mean, I guess I'm not quite yet giving her the benefit of the doubt because it seems to me so ridiculous that you would think you could get away with that.
Look, I don't know what her intention was when she signed that power of attorney claiming that this home in Virginia was going to be her principal residence, but everything happens in context, right, Dan? I mean, the context of that document, it's 2023. Joe Biden is the president. 2023, it's in her mind, Joe Biden is going to be reelected president, and she's doing all that she can in 2023 to prevent Donald J. Trump from being elected president. So, and it's in Virginia. Who's going to be looking at this document? Who's going to be even aware that she's buying this home in Virginia? So, again, I don't know what her intentions were, but I'm pointing to the atmospherics that surrounded, her conduct in 2023. If she indeed did sign that power of attorney, which it looks like she did, where she attested that this was going to be her personal residence, perhaps she thought that it was never going to be uncovered. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the second document that her office is citing.
But as you saw in that well-crafted and hilarious coming up section right at the beginning of this video, some people are saying that they have sources saying that subpoenas are going out to mortgage companies. Y'all, once the subpoenas start rolling, once the mortgage companies, the documents start being produced, y'all know that this is real. So there are people saying that the subpoenas are going out, and Letitia James has already hired her attorney, which we're going to talk about in a second. But the subpoenas are going out, apparently. Let's take a look.
I believe the Attorney General of New York is going to get charged by the feds here criminally. I think this is going to be a big deal. I think it is a case that is being undercovered right now, even in the right-wing media. I've been surprised that this hasn't gotten more attention.
Also heard from intelligence sources today out of New York, Eric, that subpoenas have gone out to mortgage companies, insurance companies, and title companies regarding Tish James. Subpoenas have been sent out now to the companies to brought them in under oath to go before a grand jury. So there's movement, is what the story is I just got last night.
Okay.
There's movement.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, to roll it out. But
now, as I mentioned previously, Letitia James has already hired her attorney. We've talked about that in previous videos. He is an attorney who has represented Hunter Biden previously. So interesting choice of attorney. But the interesting thing they did not know at the time of this podcast is, yes, the New York State Attorney General's office is apparently paying for Letitia James's attorney, y'all. I mean, that's the reporting, okay? That she is not paying out of pocket, but that the New York State Attorney General's office, not her campaign, but her office, apparently is paying for her attorney. So let's take a look at some problems that may cause for her. As a top lawyer in New York, she should have already known this, though.
And if she were to be prosecuted, obviously she would have to have a private attorney, right? There would be no government protection that would pay for her attorney.
Well, that's an interesting question. There's I don't know whether it's illustrative or not, but there's a civil lawsuit right now against Andrew Cuomo, brought by the state trooper, the former state trooper. I don't know if she still is a trooper or not, but
that was for his actions as governor.
That's correct. That was,
right.
But my point is, under public officers law in New York State, right now, he is being covered under the public officers law for the cost of his defense. Now, does she have, and by the way, curiously, the official who initially decides whether or not the public officers law provides the cost of defense is the Attorney General. I think it's a stretch because the allegations here are such that, how does she connect her official duties to these allegations? So I do think that she needs to, if she's going to properly manage this, as I mentioned a moment ago, I think it's a mistake that she's using the resources of her office at the moment. But if she's going to properly manage this, she's going to need independent outside counsel. And by the way, Dan, just as an aside, as you were at the beginning of the interview, you mentioned how her office now is providing information to the New York Times. quite frankly, I think that's a mistake. I think that it's a mistake that she is now using her office to be proffering information about this investigation to the New York Times. If I'm the Department of Justice, I'm sending subpoenas to her office now. Why is she making people that work for her potential witnesses in the Department of Justice investigation? To me, that's just simply a bad move on her part.
So y'all, it looks like this is real, okay? This all started on X. You had a few people who were talking about it. We covered it. Not a lot of other creators were covering it, but we covered it. And the reason why is because there was documentation associated with it, right? You don't want to just go with wild claims, but when people start producing documentation, you say, okay, hold up, there might be something here. And now we've moved, this whole ball has moved slowly, but very surely, with additional claims and additional possible charges, right, that have become uncovered as everything's been moving forward. And now here we are, where it looks like charges are imminent at this point. I'd like to know what y'all think. You know, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and put your comments down below. Please do, but before you do, please hit the share button. Share this video out through email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, through all of the social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Y'all, this video is coming out on a Sunday. You may be watching it on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I hope you'll be watching it for a long time. But whatever day it is, go down and hit the link for Augusta Gold. It doesn't matter if it's today. Get your free report on why you should shore up your IRA, your retirement, your financial future with gold, y'all. Like I am, okay? And want to thank y'all. You know we love y'all. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you back in the next one.
The Trump administration has now asked the Justice Department to consider criminal charges against James.
Our chief investigative reporter, Jonathan Deans, live with the details. Jonathan?
David, Natalie, the Trump Justice Department says it is now deciding whether to investigate State Attorney General James for possible mortgage fraud. The issues focus mainly on two properties, one here in New York, the other in Virginia. James denies wrongdoing. She says the Trump administration is weaponizing the federal government and is now wrongly trying to bully her. This Norfolk, Virginia home is co-owned by Attorney General Letitia James. That, according to records that appear to show she may have claimed that house as her principal residence. The Federal Housing Finance Agency director, who previously was a Trump fundraiser, sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department calling for a mortgage fraud investigation into James, alleging she appears to have falsified records to receive favorable loan terms. Sam Antar, an accountant by training and past convicted felon, first raised questions about James's property-related records.
If she did actually use it as a primary residence, she'd be disqualified automatically as the Attorney General. If she didn't actually use it as a primary residence, she would be committing mortgage fraud. So take one or the other.
Late this afternoon, James's office said the co-owner, her niece, used the Virginia home as her primary residence. Questions also raised about James's Brooklyn home. 2001 city records show it was a 5-family dwelling, which experts say would require a commercial property loan with perhaps higher interest rates. But James allegedly listed it as a 4-family unit. A James spokesperson would not say if any units have since been combined, as a property of 4 can be backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, often qualifying for better interest rates and a lower down payment. James's office says since she has owned the Brooklyn building, it has always been a 4-residence home. A spokesman for James today said the Trump administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they are. In Washington, Attorney General Pam Bondi was asked on Fox about the criminal referral.
Of course, we'll be reviewing it.
State Attorney General James won a civil case against Donald Trump and his organization for fraud, and he's appealing the nearly $500 million in fines. Veteran white-collar crime attorney Brad Simon says he has questions about the seriousness of and the motive behind the criminal referral.
Maybe there's some merit to it, but this is not the way you conduct an investigation. Perhaps she did something wrong, but it should be done in a fair manner.
Antar says he is not part of any so-called Trump revenge tour targeting Trump opponents.
I did this out of my own time without any encouragement from anybody.
State AG James is accusing the Trump administration of cherry-picking information to try to damage her politically. This as President Trump took to social media this week to call her a crook, each side accusing the other of weaponization.